Good morning and welcome back to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm your host, Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq. We've been coming to you live from the Nasdaq Felix options trading floor as we do each quarter for quadruple witching expiration. Joining me throughout the morning is Sean Cruz, manager of trading strategies over at TD Ameritrade. And we're going to continue the conversation that we started back in May at the Nasdaq market site in Times Square, where we featured Pacer ETFs, VETS indexes, military times, and veterans from JP Morgan, Citigroup, and Bank of America. And we were discussing how veterans lend to the bottom line of corporate America. Sean, thank you so much for joining us at the Felix options trading floor. So tell us about the time that you served in the military.
So I joined the Marine Corps right out of high school, and so I served from 2001 to 2005. I was stationed in Camp Lejeune, did 2 tours of Iraq, and then after my 4-year time was up, I got out and then I went into to undergrad at Illinois State.
All right. Well, thank you, of course, for your service. And do you think companies that hire veterans have an improved corporate culture, and why is that?
I think that definitely adds just the diversity of the employee population. I think they certainly bring unique experiences, especially some of those veterans that joined at a very young age. They're doing things when they're 20, 21, 22 that some people don't do at all in their lives, and they're learning how to make decisions in very stressful situations. They learn to understand the gravity of decisions they make. And so I think that is something that's very valuable to have, especially at the lower entry level positions that a lot of these veterans initially come into. I think it helps bring a lot of continuity between the lower levels in management in terms of just the ability to take responsibility and make good decisions that really have bigger implications for the overall organization.
Do you think veterans help to actually drive the bottom line and results?
I think they can really help drive a lot of the efficiencies, and you hear that quite a bit right now from a lot of these companies as they're trying to get a lot more efficiency in their operations. And when you look at veterans, they know how to really run a process. They know how to make sure they're accountable for everything that they do. And I think that's where you can really clean up a lot of the efficiencies that maybe are missing in some places.
And that's what I was going to ask you next. What specific skill sets from your time in the service have you brought to TD Ameritrade?
I think there's really just a lot of the structure that you get in the military is something that's good. You're a lot more regimented. You're organized. You usually have a very good process of how you like to see things and see things through to completion as well. I think it's the accountability is something that I noticed when I came in. Managers really liked was just the general level of accountability, and knowing when you say you're going to do something, you get it done all the way through. So I think there's certainly that aspect, and then I also have the most organized clean desk in the Chicago office for TD Ameritrade.
Like we were talking about, tie, buttons, belt buckle in the middle. Yes, it's the first thing that we noticed. So can you relay a story from your time in the military that you've applied to a specific situation, whether it was at TD or any other company?
I think there's a lot of learning, and it's just not just one specific story, but it's just a general theme. And that is there's a lot of coordination. There's a lot of cooperation that you need across different units in the military for any operation or any mission to be done successfully. And I think that's something you see today. And I think it's another way for efficiencies to come out of operations is when you learn to work well with other teams. And maybe instead of it being another, military team, it's another business unit where now you're working together, and that helps unlock a lot of synergies, and I think it can help drive efficiency.
So can we talk about corporate structure? We look at all the different silos that we're in, and your time in the military kind of teaches you how to work with them all together and coordinate.
It does.
Right.
And I really think that's important. And I think I've seen that in TD Ameritrade and working across competencies. I have the trading background, but I've learned to work well with our communications, with our marketing team. I think at the end of the day, it helps us bring a better product and a better experience for TD Ameritrade clients.
I think a lot of units don't realize how valuable the marketing and communications teams are. I mean, they really do help to drive that story. What do you think companies can do overall to support veteran programs better?
I think TD Ameritrade does a great job. We have the TD Ameritrade Veterans Initiative. We also participate in a lot of local events. So every office has something they do. Down in San Diego, they've done the Navy Bridge Run. Out in Denver, they actually went out and donated to the local MEPS enlisting station. We do a lot of just things across the offices every November. We also have a veterans luncheon around Veterans Day for all the veterans in the company. And then we also do the Veterans Month where we wear red shirts every Friday just to keep in mind all the members out there that are deployed right now.
All right, and to wrap up, what are some of the challenges that you face perhaps transitioning from the military to the corporate world, and what's the best advice that you can give to the next generation of military service members getting into the corporate world?
I think it's definitely a stark difference going from a very structured military environment, and now you're out into the civilian world where you don't necessarily have that structure inherent in every little thing you do. So as you're a veteran and you're getting out, you want to make sure you keep in mind some sort of some sort of schedule, some sort of regiment that you do follow every day, because I think it'll help really transfer not only the skills you learn in the military and the civilian environment, but it'll help keep you anchored as you transition into what's really a totally new environment.
All right. Well, thank you for all the advice and, of course, for your service.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us throughout the morning. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.